Supply with me, Guy Next Door, bringing you your weekly double tap of all things Laserforce. This week, Old Man Than is unavailable for recording, and you know what? I didn't want to leave the YouTube world without, obviously it's weekly double tap. So I'm joined this week by a couple of Auckland locals. We thought it'd be nice to get, I would say, the rookie perspective. These two guys have, one's been playing for not super long, one's been playing for quite a number of years, but neither have actually played in a Nationals tournament yet. So if you're looking for a Rookie of the Year candidate, I highly recommend one of these two guys. But joining me tonight is the giant of a man known as Morange.
Hey.
And the complete opposite of that, Lyte.
What's up?
Thanks for coming. We normally record this on the weekend, where people aren't working, doing family shit, and because I was a little bit unorganized this week / last weekend. These guys have kindly donated their weekday evening to come and wax poetic about Space Marine. So thanks for coming to hang out.
No worries, bro.
So I guess this is probably a good place to start. Morange, how long have you been playing for, man?
So I think this was like late-ish 2011 is when I started. So
Has it been that long?
Yeah, so it was when did Virus leave?
Well, he's been gone a little while.
Yeah. So he was there for my last few weeks. I think it was end of 2011 because I was playing for a good year or so before I left.
Yeah.
So off and on, obviously during that time, I've left the country and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I first started playing what is now about 6.5 years ago.
Time flies, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you play in the so we had a for lack of a better word, it was kind of like a league tournament here. Did you play in that?
No, I have no memory of that, so no.
Oh, that's strange. That must have been when you had gone overseas, because I think there's guys that have been playing around about the same time as you, or even less time, that sort of started they played in that tournament. So.
Yeah. Quite possible.
So, Lyte, what about you, man? When did you start playing?
So I think the first time I played Laserforce was probably like everyone else's. It was probably in like 2003.
Yeah.
But, I was like however old, I was like 11.
Oh yeah, I'm in that same boat as
Yeah,
well.
and then I didn't play for years. And then I think in 2012 I started playing again for a couple of months. Not
like
competitively.
Just
socially, just coming down, playing with some friends and stuff. And it probably wouldn't have been until like 2016 when I started, where I met you, and I started playing competitively.
Because you did Rodak bring you along?
To the members night, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Because he'd been playing for quite. He played in that tournament.
Oh, okay.
I think he just started playing. There was a group of people, I think maybe, that came with him. I'm not sure. Oh, actually, you know who else played in that tournament was Tyrone.
Really?
Yeah, and that's kind of how you got into playing, right?
Well, no, I invited him.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. So I've known Tyrone since high school days.
Right.
Yeah.
That's. I mean, he doesn't play anymore. I think he. we ran the tournament so poorly that we lost. We lost about half the members base about halfway through that tournament because people were just shitty and we just ran it poorly.
I might have been here, but since I always did shift work, I couldn't turn up every week, so it might have been a possibility.
I think we had like 30 people. At the start of the tournament, we had like 30 people. I think by the end, it was more like 18. It's pretty bad. So I mean, like, what sort of made you want to come down and play competitively?
I like the idea of Laserforce, so going around shooting people is fun. So with lasers.
Right.
But I mean,
membership would die off fast otherwise.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you'd lose player bases a lot quicker.
Plus go to jail.
Yeah. I think I kind of like playing competitively all the time, like in everything, like video games. Like I'll start a video game and I'll play it for like 1,000 hours and I'll be like laser focused into like making sure that, you know, I'm number one. you
Yeah.
know? So it's kind of like, I think it's just kind of how I am as a person.
Right.
But yeah, it was nice to see that there was like another level of stuff.
Yeah.
Like you play the standards,
Yeah.
and then someone goes, you know, shows you maybe a game like D&D or something. You're like, you can do other things with these
Yeah.
suits. And then, you know, and then they're like, well, you should try this one, you know, and then it's like, okay. So yeah, just different levels and elements of the game.
Yeah.
Well, because I remember coming to some members' nights, like, must have been like 2003, 2004, like I was about 11, 12, I came with my mate, we got absolutely pantsed by everyone. But this was like back in the days when you had to come early and sign up because there were limited number spaces, and...
Actually, yeah, like back in those days, you would have queues of people lining up to play the games, and if you didn't, like, at the end of the game that was being played, if you weren't like out the door through the armory and into the line, you missed out on playing.
I think it was like a 30 people cut-off or something ridiculous
It's crazy,
like that.
right?
And I remember we got there early, you know, play, and it was fun. And then it was, when, somewhere in 2011, I had a Tuesday night free, I was bored, and I was like, members' night was fun those few times. I went, I wonder if it's still like that.
Yeah.
So I came down, and, you know, the whole community was quite inviting. They're like, oh, new blood, everyone, like, you know, pretend we're normal. And try and... no, and I enjoyed it, so I just kept coming back week after week. And, you know, I also love the competitive stuff. I have a bit of a competitive streak. A few weeks ago, I ripped a pair of pants playing beer pong. It bounced off the table sideways, and I was just, like, desperate to grab it before they could get it back and get another. So I just went like this, and, like, dived, and, like, ripped these pants that were a bit too tight for me.
Well, you know, like, that's why you gotta wear a proper beer pong attire.
Yeah, look, I've learnt my lesson the hard way. I actually got someone to get me some replacement pants that were a lot looser, so...
Maternity pants. You can say it, maternity pants.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think part of the reason why I keep coming back, like ways back in it was 2003. Joined up in 2003. The people that were playing at the time, again, like pretty inviting, and if you showed any sort of hint of talent back then, people were pretty quick to pick up on it and sort of big you up and you know make you feel like, okay, yeah, like I want to come here and I'm good at this, and you know this is like the people are friendly, and yeah, so like I completely relate. And I think that's kind of how things sort of work in the community, like because you know it's the people that make it, right? So
Yeah.
So obviously this year, you guys are both coming to nationals. What are you looking forward to the most about nationals?
Oh, is it a bit cheesy if I say the community?
Yeah.
I mean, there's I mean, there's a lot of people I've heard of but never met,
Right.
which would be interesting. And just, you know, testing yourself against that higher level. Obviously, we've got you try and test yourself against the best players in your own maze and all that. But you know, a whole tournament of people who are probably at that level, you get better playing better people, and that's sort of a fact in any facet of life almost.
Yeah.
So I don't know, just a test to see, you know, where I'm at. And also, look, at the end of the day, I come to Laserforce because I have fun.
Yeah.
So a week full of something I enjoy is just also more fun.
Right. You got to play against Rusty when he was here, right?
Yeah, that was an experience.
Now, so Rusty's a bit of an outlier. Like, my jaw still hurts from talking about him all last week. But but yeah, like the Brisbane side as a whole have some very high quality players, especially in that Golden Oldies team.
I think my best memory of Rusty when he came over was not the Commander game where, you know, he dropped 5 nukes, because apparently that's just normal. It was when he was ammo and he was defending better than the heavy, not because the heavy was bad. So he was racking up an 8k score as an ammo, and I was like trying to break him. I'm like, you're an ammo, how am I having trouble with this?
I have a feeling I was the heavy in that game. But like, yeah, I remember that, 'cause I was on his team that night, and he just, the way he moves through the maze is crazy.
I just have one great memory about that.
Yeah.
That was the first game when you guys played. He dropped 5 nukes and decimated the first team that played them.
Yeah.
And then I think you played Commander in the second game.
Yeah.
And he played Scout.
Yeah.
And I was lucky enough to eliminate your ammo in the first 2 minutes. And I was like, I went back and told our heavy.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's game over. They've lost their ammo. And we all just went out, and I was just taking shots and
Like,
moving across the map. And I was just like,
I hate losing the ammo in a game. Losing a medic, okay, that's kind of par for the course. Maybe not early, but losing a medic, sucks. But losing the ammo early, ugh. Like, then you're, and if you have a medic who's like, sweet, I'll just keep giving you lives, you're like, no. Let us die.
And yeah, because we went in second after that first game where he just came and decimated you guys, or the other team. And the other team came out and were like, have fun. And it was just like a 5 or 7 minute game. And they were like, oh.
And you're like, yeah, notch that one on the old belt. Yeah. I'll remember that one forever. What are you looking forward to about that slide?
Pretty much versing different people.
Yeah.
Because versing the same people gets pretty boring.
Right.
Playing with the same people is super fun.
Yeah.
I'll go crying.
Yeah. And that's the end of the podcast.
But like, I don't know. Playing against people you can't read very easily. Like the learning experience is kind of like playing fresh, but experienced at the same time.
Yeah,
so it's like it's like when you get a new game.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, you're good at the game.
Yeah.
Or somewhat good at the game.
Or like video games in general.
Yeah. So you're like, oh, I want to, but it's brand new.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
So I think it's that kind of thing.
That's actually a really interesting way to think about it, because you're right. Like, every week you learn the players that come, you learn their habits, you learn their lazy traits, like you learn different situations for specific people in specific roles. And you're right, like, going to a Nationals, you see a whole different perspective of how the gameplay. I think that's, like, what you said, Morange, like, I think that's partially why you get better playing better people. Because for the most part, you get better playing the better people in your own maze, but if you've got, like, 6 teams of really good players, or, good players, or players...
different people.
Humans who are different to the ones you see every week.
That's right. So, like, what have you found is like the hardest thing about Space Marines, like that you've had to learn, or
being alright when your team makes mistakes, like being able to control yourself when something goes wrong. So like.
I haven't learned that yet.
Yeah, well, like, I don't think anyone learns it, but it's about being able to control it. Like, when you're playing Commander, and your scouts aren't really helping you break the heavy, or when you're playing heavy and your resub isn't, like, listening to your calls or helping out with the defense, like when they're just solely going like, oh, you're the 3-hit, you can deal with it, like when a team isn't acting like a team, I think that's one of the hardest things to do. But I mean, apart from that, there's not too much to learn there's not too much to remember for each kind of class that you're playing. Like, it's more so how you slot that class in with the people you're playing with.
Right.
So, like, if you know that you have, say, a weaker attack but a stronger defense, then, you play that way. Play defensive. You have stronger attack, weaker defense, then you're obviously going to try and play more aggressive.
Right.
So, yeah, I think it's learning, picking up on those things and being able to control
and that kind of thing, like, changes week to week, right? As your team changes, or some guys are playing that week, or however it might be.
It could also be like how you're playing. If you're just not playing as good as you usually are, if you're kind of like got other things on your mind. You're like focusing on, like, you're not focusing on the game, focusing on like, oh, what am I going to eat when I get home, or something. Like, you're not really thinking about playing the game. You're thinking about something outside of the game. That gets me sometimes. Like, I'll be having a busy week where I've just got all these things to think about, and then I'll just come to Tuesday nights and get smashed. And then some nights, I'll come down, I'll be feeling pretty, like, lax and just top frag every game, doesn't matter what class. So it depends on how you are psychologically, I think.
Absolutely.
I think for me it's sort of, and so like a team dynamic and sort of how you communicate with your team. So I play a lot of football or soccer or whatever you want to call it outside of this. So in pretty much all team sports, you can see all of your teammates at the same time, and you can communicate with them all at the same time.
Yeah.
Whereas in Space Marines, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So you've got to use your communication time effectively. So you're like, well, I'm attacking. If I'm like saying, I need the scouts to help or whatever, you can't just scream that out. You need to go. It's like you need to try and find a way to communicate with people and actually know where they are in the maze. Like that's the problem. You can't see through walls. So whereas like if I can see someone with the ball, I'm like, just pass me the ball. I can shout for it and they can see me.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'm saying I need help attacking, there's really no way to communicate that without finding them, and you can't just piss off from attacking to go find your teammates.
Right.
So I think that in the hardest is trying to work within a team dynamic with what is really limited communication, especially in an attacking sense. It's a slightly bit easier in a defensive sense if everyone's on the same page.
Yep.
But when you're out attacking, that can be quite hard to sort of formulate a strategy on the go.
Yeah.
In a sense. I don't know. That team dynamic thing it's an interesting point. To a lot of other sports, and this is essentially a sport you are playing as a team looking for a...
There's been a mini debate about sport versus game.
Oh,
on
look.
The old Laserforce forums.
Oh, look, if esports considered a sport, this is a sport. Like, that's...
Granted, actually, the Laserforce forums were around before esports were big, so...
Yeah, that's probably fair.
So, yeah, okay, well, I mean, that's stuff that, you'll probably see, again, like, one of the good things about coming to Nationals is you get to see how these guys who are at the top of our game find or deal with these same issues that you guys have. And like one thing that I've said to like any newer people traveling to Nationals or people thinking about coming to Nationals or whatever is watch the top guys as much as you can during the early rounds, or even if they end up coming in. I don't think the Brisbane guys are going to be practicing on the Sunday, but the guys that are traveling from the States, the A team is really experienced. They've got I think if the people that are coming, who I think are coming, then they've got plenty of national tournaments under their belts, and just ask questions of the people that are coming. Like the people there, for the most part, are really keen to help, provided that A, you're not a dick, and B, you're genuinely interested in learning how to be like better at the game that we all love.
So there's also another thing is it's sort of not always the case, but you don't always know the game state when you're inside the maze. So using another sports for an example, when you're leaving, when you're not leaving.
Right.
If you have to just cut it and put your foot on the gas,
right,
or when to, be conservative. You can get a general idea in most games.
You have a scoreboard, right?
Yeah.
A visible scoreboard.
Yeah, you have a visible scoreboard,
yeah.
And so in this one, it's a little bit like Bar putting like a giant screen with the scores on it,
It might be coming. With that, I hear rumors of LCD screens on the guns, and
I have 12 special settings.
Yeah.
Actually, that would change the game completely.
Even with the Gen 7 suits now that tell you how many lives, how many shots.
Yeah.
If the other team's nuking, all this new information that you get.
Yeah.
So much easier now than it used to be.
You do a lot of the time know if you guys are in the ascendancy or not. It's easy to tell, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes you think you're wrecking people and you get back to base and no one's there. Or sometimes you think you're getting wrecked and then suddenly you hear a call for hunt and you're like, what? We were getting wrecked. What happened? I've had that before where I thought we were getting annihilated.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was resupply heavy, and then we walked out and all of us were still in and everyone was down. I was like, oh crap.
Okie dokie.
Because usually your commander or scouts aren't going to come back. They're not necessarily go, bro, we're wrecking them. Sometimes they do.
Well, really, that's a thing that, like you said, the communication. That's really key information that they should be passing on.
Yeah, sometimes it usually comes down to if they're coming back. If you're doing well, you want to send the heavy out to continue that pressure.
Yeah.
So you go out, we're wrecking them.
Yeah.
Which could be,
Yeah, that is a good point. Like, there's no... there are with the loudspeakers, they tell you, red team is really getting on top, or, whatever it might be.
I can't hear any of those most of the game. Like,
you gotta listen to that stuff. It's so much important, like, information comes over the loudspeakers, through your suit, like... through the terrible screams of the opposition.
I hear through my suit most of the time, but like unless it's sometimes like a nuke, I can sometimes hear, sometimes I don't.
Right. Yeah. That stuff is like really your only like key indicators. Then if you see somebody walking out of the arena with their gun down and that stuff is really your own indicators to see how well you're doing. So
more than once I've been down and like tried to look like I'm just going around a corner and then like walk towards the exit and then go, yep, cool, I'm out.
Don't do that at nationals.
Oh no,
that's no. Definitely don't do that at nationals.
That's illegal.
Yeah, it's illegal.
Right.
yeah, straight to the exit. Yeah.
Oh right.
So I mean, I guess on that, like you guys have been playing now for a little while. What do you think some of the things are that now that you kind of wish you'd figured out early, or maybe at the start of your playing careers?
I mean, if you don't know what resetting is early, then probably resetting. But I don't know. Like I think that thing, like resetting for one, is like one I was told about, like when I was still playing standard. So. Right. I mean, competitively, I have no idea.
It's been so long since I started. It's been almost 6 years. I don't remember things I needed to learn back then. I don't know, maybe have less weight. That was something I learned. I was a lot bigger in 2011.
Yeah, you were.
Oh, wait. No, there's the catchphrase, right? Hold your gun up.
Hold your gun up.
Yeah, that's actually the first thing. I think we don't have that so much in our mace anymore because that's the first thing G drills into you. Like, you get there, you've been there a few minutes. It's like, right, keep your gun up.
Yeah.
Like, it's an important...
I mean, look, it was drilled into me, like, from my elders, and I'm sure it was drilled into them by their elders. Pass on from generation to generation. Hold your fucking gun up.
Yeah, I think it's probably... if before you come to play at a members night or a league night or whatever it is, you probably should know to hold your gun up, or you're gonna be yelled at a lot.
I think maybe obviously the weight, like I'm a lot smaller than I was then.
Yeah.
Still massive, but like a lot smaller. I can get around the maze a lot more than I used to be able to.
Which is a scary thing, watching you run at full pace.
Oh, and that's the thing. I can stop myself pretty well as well because I have to, and like. I do this in other sports as well. Like, when I chase down someone in football, it terrifies them. I
would very much hate to be chased down by you in any sort of setting. Ball sports, on the street, like anywhere.
Yeah.
I would actually poop my pants.
I think, like, maybe something I wish I'd known is about learning to play on the edge of the line and not over the line. So when you start, and you probably get this with a lot of people, they play within themselves. They're kind of almost scared of breaking a rule.
Yep.
Like, so when I started playing, like, I wouldn't follow people at all. And then, you have to teach yourself, right, this is how far you can go. This is where you stop. Basically playing up to the line as far as possible without stepping over it.
Right.
And, I imagine a lot of people when they start to see this as well, they play within themselves. They don't try and push themselves to the limits of the laws, testing what they can do within the laws.
Yeah.
And that's kind of essential in most sports. What can you get away with? Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a really good point. Like, because you're right. Like, new players, very tentative. They move. We move around the maze like with a purpose. We know where we're supposed to be. Any one time we're either out attacking or we're back resupplying or whatever the case may be. Newer players, obviously, because they don't know the layout of the maze or how the game works, they kind of dawdle a little bit. Not wanting to like upset the regulars because the last thing you want to do is get yelled at by some random dude like for no particular reason. But yeah, you're right. I think that's like if newer players coming in could know that going forward, like from Jump Street, then I mean, it'll make the game a lot easier for them. So, one question I did have, do you guys listen to the podcast?
Yeah, I'm going to get to that.
I mean, it's understandable if you don't.
Back when my car journeys were 30 minutes every day to and from and work, I could put podcast in. It's great. Now I have like a 10-minute drive, and I'm like, do I really want to listen to this in like 10-minute installments?
Yeah, I gotta listen to like Steve interrupted over the course of 4 days.
Yeah.
Fuck it. I'll just see him on Tuesday.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's good information in there, and I do genuinely actually plan on listening to them before Nationals. Whether I get round to that is a different story.
Yeah. Well, what about you, Lyte? You listen to podcasts?
Yeah, I normally listen to them during dinner, actually. Like, I'll just be sitting there, turn it on, have some food, listen to some people talk. Definitely hearing about, like hearing from the players who are considered the top players.
Yeah.
Or at least players who've been playing for so long that, you know, they've been playing for as long as I've been alive or something. So that's
not
pretty
that
funny.
old.
Shout out, Trench. Yeah, they are.
I mean, like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, and just hearing like what you used to have to do, which is now kind of like some things are kind of just like you don't even think about that anymore. Like
Back in my day, we
like, it's just hearing different sides of the story, and just it's interesting.
Yeah.
And so it will be more interesting when I think I've met some of these people before.
Yeah.
Definitely haven't met all of them.
I think, like, out of the international scene, like, you know, we travelled, obviously, not last year before, right, to
2016.
2016, yeah. The end of 2016, me, you, Rodak, and Ninja
Nate.
Jack.
Yep.
Yeah. We came over for the weekend, and I think
go work.
yeah, it was all super last minute. Like, you messaged and was like, hey, yo, me and Rodak are going to Brisbane.
Yeah.
To come. We're like, fuck it, okay, sweet, let's go.
Well, I just wanted a holiday. I just wanted a break from work. So
See, I was under the impression that you were like, hey, we're going over to play Laserforce. Like, do you guys want to come? So I was like, yeah, man, cool. These new guys, like, keen to go on this Laserforce trip. No. We were just tagging along in your holiday.
no, I mean, like,
Just to bite ourselves, whatever.
we because we went and stayed in the Gold Coast, and we were just looking around, going around, having some fun, and then I think it was before we left, we're like, oh, Brisbane's not too far away, and we'll go up and have a look. And I think we ended up spending the last 3 days, like,
We were there
every
at least
day
3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, okay. So I got an idea for the maze, but it's so much more different to ours. Like,
Right, so that's the next point. Like, you have played there once before, which I think so you're playing on my team in Nationals, and I think out of our team, you're the only one you're probably the least experienced
in that maze.
In that
Oh,
maze.
probably in general, actually. I'd
Maybe.
say.
But Morange, like, you've never played in Brisbane, right?
I've never played in a maze outside of our Auckland one.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't even played Wellington. Can I add that to what was one thing I'm looking forward to about Nationals? Playing somewhere else.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, did you come with us to the random maze above the ice skating rink?
No, I think once again I had work that day.
Now you need to quit your job. Come play Laserforce.
Look, if someone wants to pay me to play Laserforce competitively full time,
That's the dream.
that is the dream.
That's the dream.
Well, although that one's actually just down the road from me, so next time you guys are there, if I'm not working, which I probably will be.
Yeah. So on your team, you know, you've not played there. Ninja Jack's obviously played there. He played there with us when we came over. Mr. Doom hasn't played there, I don't believe.
Yeah.
No, he hasn't.
Richard's definitely not played there.
yeah,
Or Kamikaze's Richard. Yeah.
Yeah. Lone Soul has played there. He's played at Nationals there, actually.
Yeah.
So, you know, we've got some experience there, which is good. Plus, he's a pretty good player.
Yeah.
So.
When was the last Nationals in Brisbane? Just out of curiosity.
So the last one that was held there, or the last one we attended?
Well, actually, I guess both questions if you've got answers.
So the last one that was held there was in 2014.
Alright.
In terms of Auckland representation, I went over and played with Oakley. We were the average Joes. Prior to that, the last one that we sent a competitive team to, let me just double check. So yeah, I'm pretty sure the last competitive one that we sent a team to was 2009. We talked about that I think on a previous podcast, but yeah, basically Virus got swine flu and 2K King wrecked his ankle, and generally we were very disappointing as a team.
The irony of Virus getting a
yeah, you see where he's going. Yeah, so this will be the first. This will be the first time in almost a decade that Auckland has a competitive, or semi-competitive.
Don't want to hype
presence.
too much.
Yeah. Speak for yourself, man.
High hopes, low expectations, people.
That's right. I you know what? We've got two teams coming over, and I think that both teams have the ability to play. So. I'm not saying that we're going to come over and destroy you all, but I think it'll be a good tournament for us.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big thing about, obviously, with our team being quite an experience in a tournament setting. It's about managing those expectations. If you want to put it into, I don't know, we're New Zealand or Rugby World Cup metaphor, we're Japan. We want to go there. We want to possibly cause.
We want to host.
Look, we want to host in 2019. Yeah. We want to possibly cause an upset or two. Give 100%, but we're not going to go there and run the whole thing and win. But
we'll take a game off South Africa.
Oh yeah, we'd like to take a game off. We'd like to cause an upset or two, take a game off someone bigger. But look, we're not going to win the whole thing, and we know this.
Honestly, I think you'll give us a run for our money, because I think you guys, obviously you played against us. Period, just us. And you know how we play, so I think you'll do well to take some games from us.
Yeah.
Especially if Moki manages to find his way over as well to join the team, then you guys will have some good experience in the form of him and in the form of Lone Soul.
Yeah.
And then you got some really good up and coming talent. I think on that team you have 4 rookies, which is huge. On our team we have 2. Yourself, Lyte, and then I'm pretty sure Leech. I'm pretty sure he's up for rookie as well. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's never played. He's never played a nationals.
Surprising, but.
Yeah, I mean he's been around for as long, if not longer than you. He's a very good player, and we've sent teams to nationals in the past that, for one reason or another, he just hasn't been a part of. I think at the time we kind of had our really core group set up, and he wasn't prepared to play with some of the other guys that were heading to nationals in previous tournaments through personal reasons or whatever. But yeah, so it'll definitely be an interesting tournament. So with nationals, and obviously we've been in training now for a year. We've kind of been building up to nationals. We've been riding the hype train for a little while now in Auckland, and just recently, probably even within the last couple of weeks, we've actually seen the final kind of teams taking shape. There's still 1 or 2 positions.
The 2 weeks I haven't been there.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Byron's been dealing with knee issues. Shout out to Traj. But you guys kind of have an idea of your roles in your specific teams. Morange, where do you think your skill set will be used in the tournament? Where do you think you'll kind of be placed?
More in an attacking role than a defensive role. I don't quite have the defensive mindset down. That's another point I'll get up to in a sec. But I think definitely a scout is a good position. We've got a couple of experienced players, people who have played Nats before. I'd be more than happy to hand them the 3-hit roles and say, you guys have got the experience.
Yeah.
Or even if you're not wearing the C for captain, you are also unofficial leaders, and that's also a big thing about team sports. You don't just have your one leader who's captain, you have a leadership group.
Yeah.
And I think those 2, and if I'm going to be bold, possibly myself.
Yeah, I'll put you in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll play into that. But obviously a scout's probably where I see my best use in this team. Yeah.
I think your height will will be a benefit in this maze. It seems to work really well with guys like Rusty and Fredo. They're both quite really tall guys.
Actually, if you have me, Mookie, and Doom attacking, is that like the tallest attacking trio you can...
It's up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not exactly like you guys are going to be sneaking around. What about you, Lyte? Like, where do you see kind of...
I think I mainly prefer attacking,
Yeah.
but I think defensively I'm okay.
Yeah.
But I normally like to approach it in a different way. So like, instead of waiting for people to like come out and try and fight me, whatever, I'll try and
Fight me!
Yeah, what you got?
I'll try
Come at
and
me, brah.
yeah, I'll try and like anticipate how they move.
Yeah.
So I'll feel them out for like, you know, a game, 2 games, however long it takes. Just watching how they move, how they try and approach their attack, and I guess I'll attack them as they're doing it.
Right.
So like when I even though I'm playing defensive role, my movements are in an attacking way.
Yeah.
So like it's. I think that's my way of dealing with being not super strong at just the stoic defense.
Like, as opposed to a wall, you're more aggressively attacking the attack, right?
Yeah, because like I mean, obviously, I don't have the height advantage.
So
that
okay,
other people's.
It's people like you're you're a shorter dude, especially when you stand next to Morange.
Yeah.
Probably we're almost the same height. I think you're a little shorter.
I'm like 5'6".
Right.
Or
Back to back. Wait.
So you're definitely taller than me. I know that for
right.
sure.
Okay. So
but yeah.
So it's interesting because like in my experience, what I've found is if you're either really tall or if you're really short, you do kind of okay in Brisbane Maze, because if you're tall, you can see across the maze, you can shoot across the maze. If you're really short, you can move low down. There's a lot of walls and stuff that you can move around, especially if you're attacking into the back tower. Coming across the skywalk, I've seen like Meow, the way that she plays, because she's quite short as well. She basically turns into a ball and Sonic the Hedgehog rolls across the skywalk.
She does show a shoulder when she shoots, right?
Yeah, but you don't see her coming until she's boom right at the end of the skywalk. So I think like that sort of thing's really good for short people. Yeah. Anyone in between, you're in this weird
disadvantaged spot. It's like Formula 1.
Yeah. You're not tall enough to be beastly, and you're not short enough to hide.
Yeah, and if you're like me, you're not really like fast enough to move. So I'm significantly disadvantaged. But that's okay. Well,
you got what? It was about 15 years of game experience, though.
It helps.
That's an advantage over a lot of us.
It helps.
I mean, thinking about heavy is such an odd position in the terms that when you come to Laserforce, like any player who's like worth their salt, or is, you know, at least you look at them and go, yeah, they could play competitively. You naturally attack because even standard, every other form of Laserforce, you naturally attack. Like players who are good. Not like people who turn up and... but like people who might have an eye on playing competitively one day.
Yeah.
Heavy is such an odd role because you have to not restrain yourself, but know how to almost be a wall. So you look at players and you look, Lyte can play a good heavy, but he is a better attacking player. And there's not many people you look at and go, well, actually, they're a better defensive player almost than they are an attacking player. I look at our group of people, and it's pretty much you on your own who I'd say is defensively quite... Not that your attacking is bad.
No. I know what you mean though. Like,
and if you look at probably Laserforce players worldwide, you're probably going to have a small percentage who are naturally better heavies than they are commanders. It's almost like a really hard skill set to find. If you can find a good heavy, I mean, that's where you pull them out and go, look, you know, we want you to play this position.
Right. It's funny because like, I think that is a really good point because there have been some really amazing heavies that I've known over the years. And, you know, guys like Duckman from Oakley, he was, at least in the time that I've played competitively, he was just a wall. And he was such a good defensive player. I think he's actually playing this year, so I look forward to seeing you again, my friend. Not that I don't think he listens. He's probably like Morange, doesn't listen to the podcast. But yeah, guys like Duckman, Tragedies are like, in the time that I've known him, is another really amazing defensive player. Although I've learnt recently that in his younger days, he was one of the best attacking players, that there was. So guys like Baden, I think Baden is a really good defensive player, but he's also very efficient at the attack. So he's kind of got both covered. I've seen Taipan play heavy really well, although apparently he's a much better attacking player again. So, yeah, you're right. It's hard to find that, purely, I'd say defensive, but like that player who's happy to play heavy, and I guess a more traditional sense, or at least a traditional sense. That
you're a special unicorn there, G.
Yep, that's how I often refer to myself as well. Special unicorn, but not in a good way. So, I mean, on that, like, we've sort of been toying with your positions, like, and after all of that, we may actually drop you back to heavy. But, I guess that's what the Sunday is going to be used for, that we're there. Because it'll give us a chance, it will give all the teams a chance that are travelling to find their feet and get comfortable in the maze and, see what the best kind of lineups are. I was saying to you guys earlier when we played Sacramento, when I was playing on Baden's team, the original plan was I was going to play heavy, he was scout, and that was going to be good, but he messed his back up and was just like, I can't crouch, I can't get low enough behind the walls. Can I play heavy and put you as scout? And I was like, yeah, man, cool. And that worked even better because he was amazing. So yeah, we get an opportunity to play with that stuff, and all the people coming will get an opportunity to play with their lineups, which will be really good. On that, just a quick piece of housekeeping. So obviously the tournament this year, if you haven't been listening or if you're a little slow, it has been held in Brisbane, Australia, Monday the 30th of July until Friday the 3rd of August. Tournament fee will be $200 a player, and there'll be many a fun time had with people travelling from all over the place. There's a lot of us coming over, so make sure if you haven't bought your ticket, buy a ticket. Come play Nationals with us.
Or else.
Yeah, or else. We'll get Morange to come and chase you down.
That's like a threat no one will get though yet.
You wait. You come to Nationals. You'll be glad you came to Nationals.
Because he gets to chase you in person, not figuratively.
But I think that probably about wraps up all we need to kind of go through. I hope you guys are kind of looking forward to playing this year. It's going to be cool.
Yeah. No, I'm just going to pull out now. I've lost all interest.
Actually, now you've told me.
Now that you've said it, no.
I mean, the podcast has that effect on people.
Yeah. That's a good thing I haven't listened so far, otherwise I wouldn't have even turned. No, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great fun.
Yeah. Cool. Well, for this week, I've been Guy Next Door. Always remember to backtrack, kids. See you next week.